everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Khalil Doheny, and I'm Director of Content Marketing at Digital Niche Agency. Today we have James. James, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, thanks, Khalil. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. And while people are trickling in, do you want to just give a background of yourself and really what we can expect from the webinar today?
Yeah. So the purpose of the webinar today is to talk through Mayweather Fitness Holdings and everything that me and Floyd and our team are doing together under that brand. The things that we've already done, the achievements that we've already made, and the new business lines that we're going to be launching. Very quick background on myself. Originally was a corporate lawyer back in London, New York, working on private equity and venture capital deals. Then spent about 8 years at Bain Consulting, working in London and Los Angeles. And I left Bain maybe about 12 years ago from now. To set up my own venture and consulting firm to work with athletes and entertainers to build out businesses with and for them. So I spent several years working with NBA players, NFL players, helping them kind of think through careers outside of sport. I spent about 5 years advising Beyonce on her management and entertainment company, Parkwood Entertainment. Led kind of the efforts to create her joint venture, Ivy Park. And so spent some really good time understanding how to really build celebrity-backed businesses. Created another company called XPT, which was developed by Laird Hamilton, a big wave surfer, Gabrielle Reese, professional volleyball player. And really took those learnings from both Bain and being a lawyer and working with other talent and celebrities to create Mayweather Fitness Holdings. And me and Floyd have been together for 10, 11 years or so, doing various different business ventures together initially, but always wanted to put something together that would be global and this huge success that would really replicate everything that Floyd had done in the sport of boxing, but in a new arena. So that's really where Mayweather Fitness Holdings came from. And as we get into the presentation, we'll really kind of dig into that background and what the company does and what the future is.
Awesome. Thank you, James. And everyone attending the webinar, thank you so much for attending so far. And if at any moment that you need to hop off this webinar, don't worry, this whole webinar is being recorded and we'll be posting it on the Republic page as a replay. So James, let's just jump straight into it. If you want to go ahead and share your screen and go through with your presentation.
Okay, great. Let me just... Okay, so let's kick off. What is Mayweather Fitness Holdings? I'll give a little bit of a background on it. So I think most people know Floyd. I'll dig into a little bit more some of the data on him and the reach and the power that his brand has. But essentially, Floyd created a billion-dollar brand in the sport of boxing. The most successful boxer in history, undefeated, 50 wins, 0 losses. Made more money in boxing than any athlete's ever made. Forbes' highest paid athlete 4 times. So really understood how to not just be a champion in the sport, but how to really change the economics of the way that boxing worked, and enable himself to command those huge paydays that he ultimately received in those big fights. The very unique thing about Floyd, as a boxer and as a top tier iconic athlete, was he always chose to not take a major licensing, sponsorship, or endorsement deal. He shrewdly always said to himself that he wanted to maintain the brand equity in the Mayweather name so that he could build out a series of businesses once he retired from the sport of professional boxing, and for that to become his legacy outside of the sport. So many years ago, we would sit down and we would talk through, okay, Floyd, what do we think those businesses should be? And, what do you want to focus on? What are you excited about? What are you passionate about? And one of my learnings from the other businesses that I'd been involved with talent and celebrities was the business really has to be truly authentic to who the celebrity is. If you're out there and you're trying to just make a quick buck, or put your name on something that doesn't mean something to you, then it becomes really hard to make that successful, and quite rightly so. So, we sat back and we said, well, look, Floyd, what's really most authentic to you? What are you most interested in? What's most passionate for you? And truly, there's nothing more passionate or authentic to Floyd than boxing and fitness. So that's kind of what led us down the journey of creating this portfolio holding company called Mayweather Fitness Holdings that would have all of these different business units that sit underneath it. And so the intention from the start, and we've already been achieving that, is we can now unlock all of this value that Floyd has in the brand that he's created outside of the sport of boxing, which he'd never done before. So that's where Mayweather Fitness Holdings began. And as Floyd describes it, he created a billion-dollar brand through the sport and the business of boxing. And he and we and our team are now excited to recreate that same level of success in Mayweather Fitness Holdings and build that into a global phenomenon. So billion-dollar brand in boxing already done. Now let's create a billion-dollar brand in the fitness and the wellness categories under that same name. So a little overview of the business. We're very fast growing. We're really a fitness and technology licensing company. So I'll dig into what the different business units are that we've already launched and that we will be launching. As an overview, the first business that we have started is Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, our gym franchise. That has a lifetime revenue of $35 million already. So we're not a startup. We're an emerging business. We already have a very strong track record. That business unit has grown 2,000% between 2020 and 2023. That's essentially the core of everything that we will do. It's a franchise business, and I'll jump into it in a lot more detail, but that is the heart of everything Mayweather Fitness. We have new business lines that we'll be launching this year and beyond in nutritional supplements, gaming, and a number of different consumer products. We have a really strong team that has deep experience in fitness franchising, experience in building celebrity-backed businesses, experience in developing joint ventures for consumer products. And again, more information to come on that. And we're pretty established in terms of kind of where we're at from a capital raising perspective. Raised about $10 million, just over $10 million of venture capital from accredited investors. And this is the third round of capital raising that we're now doing. So the kind of four things that I'll talk about over the next 20 minutes or so are a bit of an overview and detail on Floyd, which most people probably know, but add some data there. The information on the gym franchise, what we've done, what that concept is, what the revenue growth has been, to really demonstrate the power of Floyd's brand in fitness. Talk through what the new business lines are that we'll be launching, and then talk through what does that mean for an investor. If I come in and I become an investor in Mayweather Fitness Holdings, when am I going to get a return? What does that look like? What's the company's plan for that? So those are the four categories that we'll talk through over the next several minutes. First one, Floyd. As I mentioned, most successful boxer of all time. Forbes highest paid athlete four times. Forbes says that Floyd, when Mayweather talks, Mayweather makes news. That's pretty clear. Huge social media following, 50-odd million followers across the three major platforms. And these are some of the things that we can and will use to develop and launch and grow the Mayweather branded businesses. So what does that mean also in terms of actual value? Obviously Floyd is a huge celebrity, an iconic athlete. What does that mean in terms of what he brings to a business? So this is just a little bit of data in terms of Floyd's advertising value. So over the last 12 months, the number of impressions that Floyd has generated have created almost $3 billion in value. So if you think about launching a new business and needing to pump money into marketing, you have a huge hurdle to cross to get to the point where a celebrity-backed business like Floyd's already starts at. So there's a little bit of data showing that. Within the US, Floyd has 100 million fans. So these are people that we can and will tap into. Certainly, as we think about the growth of our franchise business, a lot of our early franchisees were followers of Floyd on Instagram. A lot of our early members were followers of Floyd of Instagram, and that's how they first heard about it. Certainly, as we think about growing and launching our new businesses, we'll be tapping into Floyd's audience, Floyd's fan base, and that number being so big just gives us this huge installed base of how to successfully create new business lines. So now we're going to jump into the gyms, which is the only business line that we have launched right now, the first business line. Over the last 4 years or so, that's been 100% of the focus. And we kind of describe that as the jewel in the crown of Mayweather Fitness. It's very, very rare that a celebrity has brick and mortar locations with their name on, that they have members coming in using their product and their services. So it's a very valuable set of locations that will become part of the ecosystem of everything Mayweather Fitness. This is a cover that we got just last month of Franchising Magazine, talking about the growth of the franchise business. We had we opened our first location here in LA in January 2018. We opened our first franchise in September of 2019. We had 5 locations open in March of 2020 when COVID hit, and we now have 100 locations between 2 brands. So that growth was very, very rare. Obviously, COVID happened during that time, and a lot of fitness companies declined, had significant closures. About 30% of gyms in America closed permanently. A lot of franchisors, which is what we are, had a lot of problems and challenges and closed huge numbers of locations. So to see that growth during that time is just a huge testament to kind of the power of the brand, and our ability to build gyms during a challenging time. For us as kind of the franchisor, our goal is to really support our franchisees, to continue to invest into that franchise system. A meaningful part of what this capital raise is for is really to continue the growth of that franchise system, not just in opening up new locations, but really driving unit economics for our franchisees, making sure that they're able to get really, really strong returns on the gym locations that they have. This is just a little overview, and you guys can go check out Mayweather.fit to see some more content and what the real locations look like, and ideally where your closest location is as well, so you can go and touch and feel and take a class at a Mayweather. But these are our gyms. They're small footprint, 2,000 to 3,000 square foot. It's all class based, so you're not coming in to become a professional fighter. It's just group fitness. You're there to burn calories, have a great workout, burn off a sweat. So the classes are typically 50 minutes long. Half of it is boxing, half of it's functional training, and you go in a circuit. So it's a really fun class, based on the principles of Floyd, and really attacking kind of that fitness market. So our big competitors would be, for example, Orange Theory or F45 or Title Boxing. So that's the category of boutique fitness that the gym franchise plays in. Very, very successful in terms of kind of how members view Mayweather Boxing and Fitness. 4.5 stars on Google, 3,000 ratings. Just a great community. We have some fantastic content of the stories of members who've gone through issues and had Mayweather Boxing and Fitness be the community that's got them through that, and that's something that's really special to us, both to our franchise owners and to us as our corporate team, and to Floyd. Some or many of you may be familiar with NPS, Net Promoter Score. It's a huge metric to evaluate the health of a business. The industry average NPS in fitness is 39%. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness's NPS is 86%. So we're hugely above the industry average in terms of how our members, how our consumers view and experience our product, which again is just a great testament to the quality of the products that we have. We just got ranked as #1 boxing franchise in the world for 2024 by Entrepreneur Magazine. So this is an incredibly great accolade to be given. It's the kind of thing McDonald's, 7-Eleven, Marriott, those types of huge franchise systems get awarded. So for us to come in #1 there for 2024 is a real big testament again to kind of who our franchise owners are, the product that we have, and the brand. So as we think about that foundation in Mayweather Fitness Holdings being this gym franchise, the fact that we're getting these kind of awards not only validates that business unit, but sets all the new business lines up for really fantastic launches. To jump into some numbers, because I know everyone's always interested in that, quite rightly so. This slide shows our total franchise system-wide revenue, essentially from inception through 2023. So you can see here, of course, exceptionally rapid growth on a month-over-month or quarter-over-quarter basis. And again, this is a testament to the growth and the power of the brand and the product and our franchisees over the past 3 or so years. I don't believe that any other franchise system in fitness has seen this level of growth over that time period, again, where COVID forced a lot of closures and a lot of challenges. Even during that time, we saw this exponential growth in our system-wide revenue, which we expect to continue into the future. This next slide shows the annual picture. So again, even the last year, even not just coming from the relatively small numbers of 2020 and 2021, but even 2022 to 2023, we're showing 50% year-over-year growth. So this is a combination of more gyms opening across the US and now internationally, as well as the number of members and the AUVs of those gyms growing. So the number of gyms that we have largely are based in the US, but we're now starting to expand internationally, and we have 2 gyms in Dubai in the UAE. Just one just opened and one is just about to open. We're soon going to be opening gyms in Tokyo, Japan, and we just signed a deal for Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan as well. So we're pretty early in terms of international expansion, and all of those have come from inbound interest, kind of seeing the success and the growth of the brand in the US and people internationally wanting to replicate that in each of their countries. So we're excited about our international expansion as well. This shows the membership growth over the past few years as well, which kind of traps to that system-wide revenue growth, but shows again kind of the value that's inherent in the gym franchise system, where you have not just all of these locations that showcase the brand across the US and internationally, but you have tens of thousands of members who now can be the first to try new products, first to try new services, review on Amazon, review online, and really become those brand advocates who help launch in a meaningful and kind of authentic way our new products. As I'm sure you can imagine, fairly easy for us to get press, with it being Floyd. So, you know, Forbes, Fortune, Entrepreneur Magazine, Fox Business, these types of things, we get good coverage in them. They talk about the gym franchise business. They're certainly very excited to talk about the new businesses that we're going to be launching, and really kind of leveraging Floyd to get press and publicity and PR around the overall Mayweather Fitness brand. So, what are our new business lines? I think that as we consider the overall portfolio holding company, the gym franchise, like I mentioned, is the foundation and always kind of the core of our team's focus. We'll continue building locations both internationally and domestically, and that sets such a great platform and foundation to then launch our new businesses from. I mentioned it's very rare for a celebrity or for an athlete to have physical locations with their name on, with their brand. So as we start to think about our new business lines, we think about it as an overall ecosystem, and how we can utilize those new businesses to prop up and drive revenue growth and unit economics for our franchises, and how those franchise locations can sell new products and services and be the first movers for Mayweather branded products to help launch those. Overall, people who know who Floyd is, and that's 70% of the US population, they have a willingness to pay for Mayweather products and services. So as we think about our gyms, we saw that kind of exponential revenue growth. That still has some constraints attached to it. So if we think about a gym franchise, once you have a new franchisee, it costs about $450,000 to build out a gym. It takes about 12 months to do that. And then you have to have your members live within a 2 to 4 mile radius of that location. Even with those constraints, we've had this really strong growth. As we think about new businesses, for example, consumer products, nutritional supplements, VR and XR gaming, all of those constraints come off. So that's been the biggest validator for us, is to see the data and see the results of how fast the Mayweather Boxing and Fitness franchise has grown, even with those meaningful constraints. So now as we think about these new business lines, and I'll jump into this in a second, but for example, a nutritional supplement, a protein shake for $20 that you could sell in 4,500 Walmarts across the country or online, you really remove those constraints to growth. So it's been such a great validator for us to say, yep, there is a huge demand for Mayweather branded products and services. The gym franchise has proven that concept. Now let's go launch a number of new business lines under that same parent company that have the ability to scale even more quickly. This is a question that we often have as we talk about the parent company from prospective investors. It's what is my investment in? So we always like to make it clear up front that Mayweather Fitness Holdings essentially will be building out a number of different health, wellness, and fitness businesses under the Mayweather brand. And investment in the parent company includes all of those businesses. So the gym franchise business, the nutritional supplements that will launch, VR, XR gaming, and consumer fitness products. So each of those different business lines rolls up into the parent company of Mayweather Fitness Holdings. That's where Floyd and myself, our other co-founders, and our capital investors all own their equity in. So for 2024, we have 3 priority categories. The first is nutritional supplements. So think protein shakes, multivitamins, energy drinks, all branded under Mayweather. We'll be selling those in our gyms. So we have our own distribution channel. It's a great new revenue stream for our franchisees. And it's something that we can then refine and test the product before going to the mass market. We have gaming. We have a VR product that we already launched or created a prototype of several years ago. There was kind of a marketing tool for the gyms that we're investing more into to have a consumer product. So that will go on to VR headsets, and essentially think Mike Tyson's Punch-Out back in the 80s and the 90s on Nintendo, but Floyd in VR, where you can really interact and learn to box from him. And then a number of different merchandise products. Beyond that, then these are kind of the key categories that we think through from 2025 and beyond. So think athleisure, fitness products and equipment, boxing gloves will be launching later this year, fitness content, digital fitness content, recovery products, athletic footwear, and location-based experiences. So Mayweather branded locations and retailers. This is the first look at what the supplements line is intended to look like. So you can see all of the different types of products here, everything from peptides to proteins to gummies to recoveries to electrolytes. So again, having the gym franchise to sell these products into and have those franchisees make money off them, have their members be the first people to experience it, to review it, to give feedback on it is hugely valuable. Then we'll sell them direct to consumer. We'll sell them through Amazon, and we'll sell them in retail stores. And this is where we have a huge advantage. If you think about some of the mass retailers and how they look to run their businesses, celebrity is such a huge piece of that. And kind of without digging into to names, but I think a lot of people understand this is, some of the biggest names out there who are celebrities who have their own brands. It's a real win for the big retailers to have those celebrities in there, and they often do store openings or they do activations and events. They have end cap displays where you could have, the cardboard cutout of Floyd with the supplements all built into the shelves. So these are the types of things that, as we think about our ability to launch these businesses and get huge distribution versus our competitors, that celebrity backing and that ability for Floyd to turn up to retail stores, to leverage his name and image, to post on social media, to hold interviews with the big press is really, really incredibly valuable and differentiated. The goal also with the supplements is to integrate it into a fitness app so that you can customize what each person has. You certainly can do very well in supplements by having a generalist approach and launching products and marketing and selling those. But to understand a little bit more about the data of your consumer and to connect this with what we're doing in the gyms and our membership app there, so that you have kind of home workouts, you have home workouts that integrate with the in-studio workouts, and then you have supplements which are in some way tailored to your specific workout regimen, your weight, your fitness goals, and then really make that differentiated as a nutritional supplements offer. This is the first look at our VR, XR / mobile game. So like I mentioned, we have a prototype of this already. And you have different games within it where either it's mitt work with Floyd, or you're hitting a heavy bag and Floyd's coaching you. We even have sparring against Floyd. So as we think through this opportunity, again, probably significantly more scalable than some of our other businesses, because you're talking now tech, you're talking subscription, monthly subscriptions, and this kind of stuff gets really, really attractive. No celebrity has created their own gaming product that allows a consumer to really interact with them in their own arena. So we're really excited about this one. And these VR games can create huge revenues quickly. There's a couple of examples on this slide. Supernatural is one. It's a VR fitness product. Meta acquired it for $400 million. Half-Life Alyx did $65 million in revenue in just its first 6 months. And then the very small category that we will play in, VR boxing apps, that alone will do $600 million as a category in 2028. So there's probably not going to be many competitors that would be as compelling as a Mayweather VR game. So our expectation is that we'll be able to capture a significant amount of that market share. So again, this is something that as we think about, okay, how do you create a differentiated product? How do you launch this in a compelling way? There's really cool and exciting things that we can do around Floyd's other endeavors. So when Floyd has a boxing fight or an exhibition, launching the supplements around that, or creating a moment where Floyd is within the VR and we're showcasing the what he sees inside of it around an arena, and then he takes that off and then he goes into fight a real opponent. So there's these viral moments, or as we launch the supplements business, potentially Floyd's in an exhibition fight and he stops halfway through a round and he cracks open the Mayweather electrolytes drink, and everyone's asking what's going on here. So really unique ability to create viral moments and launch pads for these new products that no other business really has. This is a little bit of what I touched on in terms of the retail opportunities, and some of the retailers we've been speaking to have talked about those in-store activations. So this one is a a boxing ring with the VR headsets built into it, and there's screens above that would show Floyd in some of his fights. So again, this type of thing in big retail stores is compelling for them because it's celebrity that helps drive foot traffic and excitement around the store, and gives us the ability to launch and build those businesses in unique ways. Final section just on kind of why we're raising money, what we're raising money for, and what our exit strategy is to allow you guys as investors to see your upside. Like I mentioned, we've raised $10 million so far from accredited investors. So then the natural question becomes, okay, well, why raise publicly? You know, what makes sense for us as a company to say, hey, let's go out to the public and say, we want you to be part of this as well. So the idea came to us as we have about 100 franchisees. And as we started organically having conversations with them about the strategy of our parent company and sharing with them that we're going to be launching supplements and VR and consumer products, that got some of them really excited. They said, hey, can we be part of that as well? So now our franchisees, who are essentially our customers on the gym franchise business, started to become investors in our parent company. So we said to ourselves, hey, this is super interesting. What about if not just allowing franchisees to come in, but allowing all of our potential customers to come in? So now you have people who are potentially Floyd fans, they're retail investors, they're people who would potentially be in the market to buy all of our different new business lines. That creates an incredibly compelling prospect where instead of the people who are our investors being this small number of big venture capital firms, we have this large number of people who are all passionate about the brand. They're invested in it. They're part of the upside. And so as we launch new businesses, they're talking about it with their friends. They're buying the product first. They're sharing it on social media. They're vested in the success of our company. And that got really exciting and really compelling to us. So that's kind of really the core reason of why we said, hey, let's go out and do a public raise on this. And then it's also a little piece of, hey, you know, Floyd, where he came from and the way that he changed the dynamics and the economics of boxing, we want to do something similar in fitness as well. We want to change the way that you can raise capital and you can fund and launch businesses. Floyd's always been an innovator and a disruptor. We don't love doing things the traditional ways, and I think that's a part of our success. And this is another example of how we can do that. We can go out to the market. We can get a ton of different people who are interested in fitness, who are interested in Floyd, who are interested in fast-growing companies, and have them be part of everything that we're doing to grow this. So we're really excited about having a lot of different people be part of this. And you know, when you become an investor and you walk into your local Walmart, your Whole Foods, and you see a Mayweather supplement, you're like, oh, I'm an owner in that. You know, or you walk into your Dick's Sporting Goods and you see Mayweather Boxing, like, oh, I'm an owner in that. And I think that's a really cool prospect. I think it brings a lot of people together under the Mayweather banner, and helps us grow this business in a really compelling way. So this is a little bit of the historic increase in valuation that the company's had. So we raised our first capital in 2021. First equity converted in 2021 at an $18 million valuation. Then the next round converted at a $30 million valuation in 2022. And in 2023, we're raising at about a $68 million valuation. So you can see this significant increase in valuation. If you're an early investor, you can see kind of what valuation you originally invested at and what the valuation of the company today is. So our expectation is that we can continue to grow our valuation in a similar way. And so that means as you guys come in as investors, as the valuation of the company grows, of course, then the value of your investment also grows. This slide shows a comparison of some other celebrity-backed businesses. I think this is helpful to showcase, you know, we're at this $68 million today with just one business line launched. I think that our valuation will increase significantly as soon as we have nutritional supplements in market, as soon as we have our boxing gloves in market. We're valuing ourselves really only just off of the gym franchise being operational, not any new business lines being active. I think this is really cool. You know, it shows some of these celebrities from George Foreman, you know, doing $5 billion in sales, the Foreman Grill, Beats by Dre, Rihanna, lot of these celebrities, when they team up with the right operations, and they have the right product, these multi-billion-dollar valuations are real. And that's our goal. We right back to the start of the presentation. Floyd's a billion-dollar brand in the sport of boxing. Goal is to create the billion-dollar brand in health, wellness, and fitness. So we're really excited. We're very, very confident in being able to get on this page and be up there with other companies like this. So then what does that mean in terms of, again, going back to you guys as investors? You get those valuations. Okay, we have different options. Do we sell it to private equity, the whole overall parent company that has all of the different business units flowing up to it? Potentially along the way, we can sell off different business units. So, for example, we could sell the supplements business to GNC, so the VR business to Meta, and then along the way, have payouts throughout those sales. Or we potentially would IPO the company, have an initial public offering at the parent company level. So I think as we start launching these new business lines, we have increasing ability over time to think through what those best options are for returning maximum value to our shareholders. So we're really excited. The track record is there. We have a relatively limited amount that we're accepting in this investment round. So it's a little bit first come, first serve, because once it taps out, then that's the end of this round. But we are very excited for the growth. You can go to Floyd's Instagram, and you'll see in his bio, it's a link to the campaign page, and you can see some of the videos that he's been posting about this. But I think that's the overall synopsis, Khalil, and then I'll hand back to you for any questions.
Yeah. Thank you, James, for that wonderful presentation. Clearly, you guys are hitting a bunch of different verticals and different markets. It's very exciting to see the opportunity here. And if anyone in the audience want to learn more what James and his team is doing at Mayweather Fitness Holdings, check out their race page. I will drop the link here in the chat for everyone to visit. And with that being said, I think now it's time to go through some Q&A. I'm already seeing some questions coming in. If you have a question, please drop it in the Q&A chat box. The first question here is, what unique selling points separates Mayweather Fitness Holdings from other fitness and technology licensing companies?
Yeah, good question. I think obviously the first and foremost is the brand, right? You've got Floyd as the most successful boxer ever, and that brand awareness that comes with each of the new business lines that we launch. The other piece is, if you think about a typical kind of licensing company, a lot of it, you have third-party licensees running those businesses, which we will certainly have for some of our products. But the core of the franchise business, I think, is a huge differentiator. The fact that we have these 100 locations that will continue to grow, where you have essentially your melting pot of things that you can test and try and, of course, make money for franchisees along the way. But to have those brick and mortar locations and to launch new licensed products off of those. So, for example, this year we're launching retail boxing gloves as licensed products. First of all, we'll sell those in our gyms. We'll get feedback on those, and we'll have our members be able to review those. So you have this installed base of 20,000 odd members who are already bought into Mayweather as a brand and will be your first movers for all of these new business lines. And most licensed companies don't have that. You're just out there and you're licensing a name or a brand to a number of different licensees, but you don't have a core physical footprint to originally do that. Interestingly, Nike's actually starting to do that now. They have obviously multi-billion-dollar company, incredible products and services. They're launching their own physical footprints to test products in a similar way to how we will be launching our new products.
Thank you. And then I think people are still a little unclear. Is the capital being raised for the franchises, or the licensing products, or both?
Essentially it's for everything. So the capital goes into the parent company. And then as we think about use of funds, the majority of that will go into the franchise business. The use of funds, you can kind of go onto the campaign page and see, but the majority of the use of funds is in the franchise business to drive growth in new franchises and to drive unit economics of existing ones. because the goal with the new businesses is that the third-party licensees will fund and operate those. So our capital requirement for the new business lines will not be particularly heavy because of the way that we'll structure those deals. So the majority of the capital coming in will be for the franchise business.
And someone's asking, have you had any negative experiences with a franchisee and how did you handle it?
Yeah, sure. Like every franchise business, you have some very positive experiences, some neutral experiences, and some negative ones. Um, as a franchisee, going through the last 3 years of the market, there were certainly challenges. So for us, we saw the trend of the overall company, but that's not to say that there were not roadblocks along the way. And for us, it's really about, on an individual by individual basis, how do you get a franchisee to be content? If they have issues either with the product or the market or whatever the case may be, it's our team working closely with them to overcome them. So I think that no path is smooth, particularly in the market conditions that we've been living in. But our goal is to just support our franchisees as best we possibly can. And again, it's a big part of kind of the capital that we've deployed thus far and the capital that we'll continue to deploy, because truly our franchise locations, again, are the jewel in the crown of the business. They'll be at the forefront. They'll really help drive awareness to the new products. But again, it's an ecosystem. So as we think about our new product lines, and this probably goes back in a nice way again to the question about the differentiation as a licensing company, as we launch things like boxing gloves into retail stores, as we launch nutritional supplements into retail stores, those things will also be intended to drive foot traffic to the gym. So we'll have QR codes in that. So now you go into Whole Foods or Walmart and you buy Mayweather protein powder, there's a QR code that'll take you to the gym's locations page. So now I'm here in LA. I didn't realize, there's 3 gyms around here. And I see that from buying my Mayweather supplements. So again, creating that ecosystem that drives growth in all of the businesses is really important to us.
Thank you. And I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in about how much is it to invest? What are the use of proceeds, the valuation? Unfortunately, due to SEC guidelines, we cannot discuss those deal terms on this webinar, but all of that is on the raise page. It just needs to be a public forum for everyone to have access to it. So if you have any questions around that, leave it on the raise page. We can answer it there. Regarding the upcoming business lines in nutritional products, gaming, and merchandise, what market trends or consumer needs are you aiming to address?
So market trend, supplements business is growing. The supplements industry is growing fast. There's a lot of competition in there though. So you're in an attractive market from a market size and growth perspective, which is great. But you're in a somewhat challenged market from a competition perspective. So it's really carving out our place there and being differentiated from the competition. What's interesting to us as we think about kind of our marketing narrative is that Floyd never took a supplement in his life. So Floyd, throughout the entirety of his career, didn't use any nutritional supplements. But now that we opened our gym franchise and we start connecting with members, the reason he didn't do it is because, one, there was no brand out there that he trusted putting it into his body. And two, there's just a lot of noise whereby he didn't know what would be the best thing to use. He said, well, there's so much data out there that says one thing or another thing. What is it that's simple and easy for me to understand that will work for me? And I think that those two things are going to be the most important things as we launch nutritional supplements, because Floyd was in that position. He's in the position that a lot of consumers are in. No brand to truly trust and a lot of confusing information. And so by having all of these gym locations and these members, and Floyd is a brand to trust, we believe that we can create a differentiator there, that we can create a product or a series of products that's simple to understand and that kind of maps to your own fitness goals, and then really blow it out with differentiated marketing. Like, I won't name names, but there's some, big energy drinks out there that have done billions of dollars of sales recently by not dissimilar people to Floyd, influencers and athletes. And it's about marketing in a differentiated way and appealing to people. That's why we think about utilizing Floyd's exhibitions, to create really compelling content. And we were Floyd's house with our supplements partners the other day, and Floyd was talking about, yeah, I'm going to get X celebrity or Y celebrity to come to my house. I'm going to hold mitts for them. And while we're hitting the mitts, I'm going to have them stop and take some of our Mayweather supplements. So it's these viral moments that we can create where people are talking about it that I think can really differentiate us. And again, to have Floyd invested in spending time to do that and thinking through that to market these products in the same way that he was able to market fights is going to be a big differentiating factor.
And then how do you plan to engage with and involve investors in the key decision-making process?
In key decision-making processes, just very candidly, that'll go through our board, like most companies. But where I think that investors will get involved and where we'll want them to is on testing these new products and services, right? Like the very reason, like I mentioned, that we're doing a capital raise like this is to have that installed base of people who are vested in the success of the company. So it's sending them products first, sending them things to try, getting them early access to gaming capabilities, because that's really valuable. It's one thing to have it to first move, or people trying something first who aren't vested in the company, but having people who are truly vested in it and they really want it to succeed, to give really valuable feedback, I think that's a game changer. And so that's the piece where the people who come in on this round through this platform, we want them to get early access to everything that we're doing. And we want them to give us feedback so that we can improve and be better because of it.
And then another question that came in is, I've noticed Floyd mentioned this investment opportunity with Mayweather Fitness Holdings only once, while he tends to post more frequently about his other ventures. Could you shed light on why there's been relatively less emphasis or communication regarding this particular investment opportunity compared to his other projects?
Yeah, great question. The goal is, when Floyd posts, is to maximize the impact of those posts. Our belief is that we don't need Floyd to post anymore to hit the maximum amount that we need to hit here. Again, we're capped at the amount of investment that we can get. So once we hit that amount, we can't take any more investment in. We have other things that are going on that are driving investment into that platform. So the more important thing for us is not Floyd posting about the investment, but Floyd posting about the businesses that are contained within the company. So as we launch those new businesses, or the ones that I've been mentioning, that's when it's going to be most important for him to post. And posting about the gyms is important. Posting about those new business, that's the most important thing. It's not about the investment opportunity in the parent company. It's about driving growth in the businesses that sit under that.
Thank you. Let's see. I've already became an investor in this round. Should I decide to increase my investment, will I have an opportunity in the future?
Oh, great question. I don't know is the answer to that. As of now, we don't have an intention to raise significantly more capital. Like, we're not a company where we're just looking to get to the next round. There's a limited amount of capital that we actually need, especially given the structure of the businesses, where really the only one that we run and operate and require cash flow for is the gym franchise, and that the other ones will be run, operated, and funded by joint venture or licensed partners. So the goal is that we don't raise significantly more capital. It's better for all existing owners that we're not diluted in any more significantly ways. So it's hard to give a definitive answer on that, but the goal as of today is that we don't go out and continue to do bigger and bigger rounds like a lot of venture-backed companies do. We're at that point where that should not be needed. So this might be the last capital raise that we actually do.
And can you just talk a little bit about the process of becoming a franchisee owner?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a whole kind of team or a whole department, franchise development department. Most of our franchisees, they're from inbound interest. So maybe they're members at existing gyms, or we put ads out there on Facebook and Google. So maybe they see those, or maybe they're looking for to own a new business. Then they go through a qualification process with us. Initially, that's kind of financially based, right? Do you have the capital to actually put to build a franchise location out? Then it's operationally based. What's your background in business? Have you run a business before? Have you managed teams? Have you run a startup? All the different things. Have you got experience in fitness? A number of different things that will determine whether we believe that you'll be a great franchise owner and build a great location and run it in a great way. And then finally, it's like the more of the soft skills, right? And the philosophy. Are you aligned with the philosophy of Floyd and Mayweather and what the brand is and what the brand does? And we often get people, who have money and sound operational experience, but we don't quite think, hit what the alignment with the brand is. And so we've learned over the years, as a new franchise, we've refined our original franchise criteria. We've actually narrowed that selection process quite significantly. So it's much, much harder to become a franchisee today, for example, than it would have been 4 years ago. That's natural in all franchise systems. And it's a great thing because you continue to grow and build the caliber of the franchise system and the business overall.
And then what role do partnerships with William Morris Endeavor and IMG play in the company's success?
Yeah, great question. So William Morris Endeavor, I think, is the biggest talent agency in the world. They own IMG. They own the UFC. They own WWE. So we're represented by them in their ventures team. So to put together the joint ventures. So the categories that we're looking for the joint ventures in is nutritional supplements and gaming. So WME works very, very closely with us. We're close to signing our supplements deal. WME made that introduction, helped structure that deal. So we essentially have a multi-billion-dollar company that is working together with us to help put together our biggest deals, which is hugely valuable. Not just from kind of a power play perspective, but from a bandwidth perspective. We wouldn't have the ability to launch 10 businesses if we didn't have huge partners like that. So that's WME's role. It's on the venture side. Any of those new business lines that we decide that we'll do as a joint venture, WME is helping put together. And then IMG, which I think is either the biggest or the second biggest licensing agency in the world, they will run all other categories. So, for example, we just signed a boxing gloves deal to launch boxing gloves into retail stores and sell online through our own branded websites next year. IMG put that deal together. And essentially what we said to IMG is, hey, go create 15 to 20 categories under the Mayweather name in health, wellness, and fitness. So then those new business lines, whether it's boxing gloves, recovery products, fitness products, gym equipment, athleisure, all of those business units then just flow up to the parent company. And we're really not running them, but they're just royalty streams that flow up. So it's just free cash flow that flows straight up to the parent company as run and managed by IMG.
And then is there a nonprofit 503c corporation? If so, who are the potential grantees?
No, there isn't. It's always been in the plan, and at some point we probably will. What we had originally when we started was a program called Gloves for Greatness, which was our kids give back program, which we launched here in our Los Angeles gym. So there's always been the intention to have like give back programs to it that we can scale as we scale the franchise. As of today, there's no 501c3 now.
And then, oh yeah, how do you get millennials involved or Gen Z? Are they the largest consumer market?
I don't know that they're the largest consumer market, but they're certainly going to be. And if they're not today, they're fast growing. Look, I think TikTok is a huge piece of that. Just candidly, that's not a platform that we and Floyd have traditionally focused on, but it is one that we have big intentions to grow. Floyd only has 700,000 followers on TikTok and hasn't posted in a couple of years. We're thinking through whether we make that platform the fitness platform. And then we create organic and authentic content around it that shows the behind the scenes, but that showcases these new products. And I know, we've had conversations with people there where they are going to be building an e-commerce platform within TikTok, potential rival to Amazon, for example. And I think that being able to create compelling content around Floyd and the gyms and the products. And then having an e-com platform attached to that through TikTok is how you appeal to that generation of people.
And then how do these new lines align with the core values and mission of Mayweather Fitness Holdings?
I always say that Floyd made so much money in boxing that he earned $500 million in the hour and a half that he fought Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. That of course we are financially motivated. He's also Floyd Money Mayweather, right? So the thing's got to make a bunch of money. But also there's another reason outside of that, which is when we originally started talking about the gym franchise, and we were talking about, hey, Floyd, this is going to be thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, ultimately around the world, walking into gyms with your name above and doing your workouts. That was really meaningful to him. That's really compelling. That's a really cool thing. That's a legacy that goes beyond boxing. It's a legacy that goes beyond just making money. And so as we think about these new businesses, it's how do those things tie into that same thing? So as we talk about nutritional supplements, we're not going to put rubbish into those things. It's got to be good for people. There's got to be long-term benefits. It's got to align with those core values. So even if it's a little bit more expensive, or even if you have to exclude a couple of categories, we've got to be authentic to who Floyd is and everything that he did. Always did things the right way, never cheated, never took anything. Those things have to go into the products, and every partner that we work with, they have to adhere to those same things. So every new product and service that we launch, there has to be a long-term goal, which is how is this benefiting the health and wellness of people that goes beyond the financials. And again, in tough days in the gym franchise business over the past 3 years, the thing that helps me, Floyd, our franchise owners, is that every person who walks in the door of our gyms walks in with their shoulders back and their head high, and they walk out with a smile on their face, and they're getting fitter, healthier, and happier because of it. And so those things have to apply to the new businesses that we launch as well.
And then what are the other benefits to investing other than a free membership or a trial run at the gym?
Head to the campaign page, and there's a bunch of perks, all the way up to investor dinner with Floyd, VIP tickets to Floyd's next fight, and a meet and greet with him. I think there's even at the highest category a luxury watch engraved by Floyd and handed to you from him. So there's a number of different things. It's on the campaign page, but if you look through on the right hand side, there's perks there. So at different investment levels, there's different perks associated with that.
And then how do these new business lines complement the existing offerings of Mayweather Fitness Holdings? Are there synergies or cross-promotional strategies planned?
Yeah, a little bit of what I mentioned. So those QR codes on the retail products driving foot traffic into the studios. There's, if you think about the VR game with like in app access to reference to the gyms as well. So the whole thing, the intent is not that we're always looking at each business and trying to drive awareness and foot traffic or customers to that, but that they're driving them themselves. We're also in this is through WME. This is a different division in WME, their entertainment group, for a Mayweather TV show, around the fitness business, and how we can grow through that. So each of the different business lines is intended to grow the others. I think if you silo them all, you still have a great opportunity in all of these things. But if you put them together and you cross-pollinate and you cross-promote, that's where the real magic happens.
And then, oh, we got a message saying, I will be making an investment in Mayweather Fitness, and I share Floyd's vision. And then regarding apparel new biz line, would it be linked to Mayweather Promotions TMT/TBE brand?
No, Mayweather Fitness Holdings sits separate to those. So everything under Mayweather Fitness Holdings is all in the health, wellness, and fitness categories. So anything that would come in apparel would be related to fitness apparel, athleisure. So very specifically within those categories is everything that Mayweather Fitness Holdings is.
And unfortunately, we are at our time here. The event is only set for 1 hour. But if you have a question, please visit the race page. Ask in the race page. There is that section for you to to get your questions asked and answered. And James, I want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your day and the very busy day to come and give this presentation. And everyone who attended the webinar, really appreciate you all. And yeah, if you were looking for the replay, we will be posting that on the Republic page. James, is there anything you want to leave the audience with?
I think it's no, I think it's the discuss. I think it's called the discussion section on the raised page. These are all great questions. I'm just looking at them now. I've just had a chance to look at them now. So I definitely post those, and we'll answer everything we possibly can. But feel free to put those questions in, and we'll get responses to them.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you everyone for attending. James, hope you have a good day.
Yeah, we'll get a bunch of people in, and let's make some good money together.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.